Yo, what's up, guys? Aiden Smith, Paint Your Path podcast. I got my co-host here, Mr. Joel Mercado.
What's up? What's up, everybody? How's it going, brother?
It's good, man. Life is good. We are in December now, 12th month of the year, and we're pretty much at the end. 25 wrapped up. Maybe that's something we can get into as well, right?
Yeah,
man. Little recap or, what we learned from the year. We do have some big news, some big announcements kind of right off the rip, right? Yeah. Liftoff has been announced for its 4th annual year. If you don't know what Liftoff is, it is hosted by Tanner Mullen and his team over at DripJobs, our proud sponsor. And these guys kill it every single year. And one of the other big announcements are me and Joel are going to be speakers.
Yes.
So excited about that. You ready?
Let's go. Oh, dude, I'm excited, man. It's going to be a great year. I'll tell you that.
It's the best way to kick off your year, right? The last few years, we've been a part of it, thankfully, gratefully. And it's helped not only us connect with guys and give them some sauce, right, to go into 2026, get that momentum, that spark that they need. But it has brought a lot of guys together as well, right? Industry leaders, people that like connect on a different level and give a medium that we don't always have access to, if that makes sense, right? 5,000, I believe contractors have visited Liftoff one way or another, have been a part of it. And the lineup and the speakers just get better every year.
It's crazy, dude. Think about it. You got 18 speakers in the industry, right? And it's a free event and it's 2 days straight. Like, how many events do you get that online? You don't need to travel. All you have to do is block off your schedule, have an open mind. Literally, and this is the one thing that I want to suggest is block off your schedule. Like, what is it, January 7th and 8th, I believe?
January 7th.
Yeah, guys, you block off your schedule, get your leadership team on the call. I'm telling you guys, we're going to be covering leadership. There's processes, systems. I mean, there's so many things that these guys, they're experts in the field that you're getting free game on. Don't just like not be available, right? It's wild to me that there's something so free and such a golden thing. In fact, when I started getting into the coaching, and I probably don't think you know this, but I went on Liftoff for the 2 days to listen. And I was just like, dude, this is so much
gas
value, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then now here we are on it.
Here we are. Awesome. This is it. And it's like you said, 2 days straight, guys. Block off your calendars. This is an investment into your education, right? Because, me and Joe are going to bring the heat. You can only imagine what the other guys are going to be bringing as well. And it's just going to be a good time. It's going to be educational and a way for you to take some value to your team. If you do nothing else for the rest of the year, you got some game from guys that are doing it, leading the way in the industry, and that are giving you free game, right? Like Tanner asks us all to bring it, and that's what we're going to do. Just all straight value. So can't wait for that. January 7th and 8th. If you're interested, go to liftoff2026.com, sponsored by or hosted by our sponsor, DripJobs.
Yes.
Cool. With that being said, we need to talk about some things and some of the things we're noticing. Over the course of a year, me and Joel work with a lot of contractors, home service providers, not just paint either, right? Like a lot of people think we just do paint. I've worked with drywall guys, wallpaper guys, any type of finishing company, gutters, you name it. Like we've worked with you guys and we see a lot of commonalities across the board. And the cool thing is we see guys making a lot of money as well. And it's one of the topics we want to cover, right? Look, money is scary, guys. Like people tend to shy away. I mean, think about it in your sales negotiations. One of the first things you're bringing up is not money, right? Mm-hmm. But that could also be costing you the sale, running from it. So I'm interested, Joel, like what have you seen from guys that go from, smaller companies just trying to get things going to making a lot of money? Maybe they get to there before they get with you, or maybe you help them get there. But what's kind of your perspective on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a scarcity behind money. And when you have a scarcity on that, customers can smell it, right? So can your employees. And what I've seen a lot lately is a lot of guys are scaling and they're focused on scaling, but they're not paying attention to their metrics. And then they're blowing through the money quickly. So then they start making poor decisions. So one of the things is it's no different than school, right? Financial literacy. Like you guys have to hone in on understanding where the money needs to go, how to have reserves, and then how to pay yourself. So I think that's the biggest thing right now that I'm seeing. And then when we're in a weak position, we make weak decisions. Mm-hmm. So that's something that we have to focus on. So that's what I'm seeing a lot lately, brother.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that like, it's a necessary skill. You own a business, right? You are no longer a employee in your business. It is your duty to figure out how to lead the ship And that means getting good with the finances. Point blank, end of story, right? It's the same thing as getting off the tools, right? It's like your crew relies on you to keep them busy. Your painters, your workers, they're like, you need to keep us busy. We want to have a future with you, and you have to help us get there and achieve that. And if you're not good with the numbers, what are you sending to your team? What message are you sending to them?
Yeah.
That's important.
Well, and you got to remember, it's like when they see scarcity from the leader too, what do you think happens? They start looking for other jobs. You probably lose great people.
Yeah.
There's so many things that go through their minds, especially right now. We're in the holidays, right? And I've been hearing that a lot lately. Like, oh, we're slow and the holidays. And I've been there, right? I talk about my story all the time about the first 3 years of my business because I didn't know any better, right? We were producing what we were selling and we were running out of work at this slow time of year. And we weren't really financially stable, and our guys saw that. So we lost a lot of great people in the beginning of our business.
Yeah.
So guys, you want to be careful with that. And like he said, your responsibility as an owner is to understand where to put that money and track it, right? So I think that's super important, and pay attention.
Yeah. And, the one of the reasons why Joel has had success with his companies is because every Sunday he's doing payroll, right? He's making sure he's crunching the numbers, that everything's paid, the bills are good, that the money's all flowing where it needs to.
Yep.
And people are probably listening to this like, I've never even really dug into the finances in that way. I've never got an Excel spreadsheet or an app or something that I can look in and see how we did over the last 30, 60, 90 days, and if the money's in the right spots.
Yeah.
And they don't know where the money goes, right? It's like, this is a perfect example, actually. I had somebody reach out, and what I do to pre-qualify my, coaching clients is they fill out a form, and it basically says, where are you at in your journey? Like, tell me about your setup so we can talk
Yep.
about it. And I had somebody say, we're doing roughly 4 million in sales, and we're living off of loans. Tough
That's a whole
pill
other
to
topic.
swallow. $4 million business. You would think when somebody says, I have a $4 million business, that everything is good. That couldn't be farther from the truth for these people. And obviously, I'm not going to say any names or anything like that, but this is not too far out of the realm of things I see, right? This isn't like a one-time instance. I've seen this multiple times before. I've worked with guys that have been in situations like where it looks good on the outside, but then when you look under the hood, right, there's a lot going on that is not good. So maybe you could shed some light, on if somebody's listening and they've been at a place where they're making good sales, right? Maybe they're crushing it on sales. They know how to produce for their guys and keep their guys busy, but the bottom line is just hurting.
Yeah. I think the first thing you need to find out is your profitability, right? So your job costing. I always look at that process first. Like, how are you doing your purchase orders? Who is doing your job costing? And then where's that money going from? Because a lot of people, I don't know about you, Aiden, but I'm not a fan of actually doing like Sherwin-Williams allowing you to do a charge account. The commonality, what happens is you treat that like a credit card. You're like, oh, I'll just pay this $15,000 bill at the end of the month. And then if you're not paying attention to the numbers, you're broke. And then you got this $15,000 haunting just debt over your head. What I teach, and if you guys want to take this as a play, this is what I like to teach. We call it a scoreboard. We like to put money away in our savings account every other week. If we're not putting X dollars away every other week, we already know there's something wrong. So that's like an immediate, like, there's a problem with the business. Let's take a look. Where's the money at? And we pay for it up front. I know it's a pain in the neck, but when we make a paint order, we literally pay for it over the phone immediately. We do not use charge accounts, and there's two reasons. Reason one, when the painters build enough rapport with the stores, we've noticed that they were charging things on our account because they still believe they worked for us. So when you're a high volume store like us, like, what do you think? Those things are going to just start kind of going in the cracks, and you don't realize it. Ex painters that don't work for you are getting brushes, rollers, frames, little costs that you're not paying attention to. And I know it sounds crazy, even throwaway touch-up brushes, like that adds up, right?
Yeah, it does.
And we just stopped that. Once we did that, it changed our whole business, and we paid attention to every little detail of that. So that would be the first thing I would say. Yeah. What's something for you that you've maybe coached your team or have worked with something internally that you guys do?
Yeah, it depends on the level of where they're at, revenue wise, right? If you're at a point where you can take a reasonable salary, that's going to help your tax on the end of the year, right? Because there's different kind of like holding companies, S corps that you can kind of set up to make that tax liability. And I don't want to get into that conversation, but you kind of get what I'm saying.
EPA aid.
Yeah, right. But no, I feel like the smaller guys, what they do is they sell a job. Let's just say they land a job for $7K and they make $3,500 off of it. They
Yep.
think all that is their money, right?
Right.
And it's like you can just go, oh snap, let me send $3K to my personal account, and now I got rent for the month. I got all my stuff paid off, and it's like once you stop looking at your business as it's just you and it's just your money, that's when things start to get a lot better for you, right? And you want to have your enough to be secure, enough to run the operations, payroll, all that kind of stuff. But you don't want to just take out and say, I made all this money, right?
Yes.
Because there's taxes. There's going to be investments you have to make. There's going to be other expenses. You want to get to a spot where you are super comfortable. Hopefully you make enough money to take out a salary that will help kind of the overall structure. And talk to a CPA, talk to an accountant, talk to somebody who has been there, who has done it, right? Because once you get to that point, makes it a lot easier, a lot clearer, and you can set up your year in a better way.
I love that, dude. And you're absolutely right. Like, well, here's the thing. If you guys can begin with the end in mind, which is, hey, if I have to make 10 grand a month, then only make 10 grand a month and reserve that as that's your pay. If that's the number, right? I'm just using theoretics. So just pay yourself what your means are. And then at the end of the year, do profit sharing or whatever your business is set up is. But don't get overzealous. And I think what happens is a lot of people make money so fast that they go, oh, let me start using my debit card to my business account and start using it for this and that. And next thing you know, you lost track and you spent 20, 30 grand that month. So, just live by your means, right? And set a goal, and then what's left over at the end of the year, awesome, good for you. Pay yourself a little bonus and then carry over. That's another thing. I do a reserves account. I actually carry over whatever that goal is. So let's just say I'm just throwing numbers hypothetically. If you're between $2 and $3 million in gross sales a year, we've noticed that you probably need a minimum of 50K in your checking account carried over into next year for payroll purposes. So I've noticed like the average business we deal with usually is between that $1 to $3 million range. So I usually say you need about 50K reserved for the following year as your zero balance. And then if you're above that, $4, $5, $6 million a year, it should be 100K. Because like you want to be able to promote and be able to utilize your own account as yourself as a bank. That's just what I do. That's what we've used for our business models. Yep. And I've seen the success in that. So thought I'd help out with that number so that people can see what that looks like.
Yeah, no, it's important, right? Because like you don't want to have too much in your account, right? Because now the liability goes up. You want enough to where things are running smooth. You have a little bit of wiggle room. You have all your stuff paid, like we were saying. And it's important to become comfortable with this kind of stuff. That's the bottom line, right? Look into it, get comfortable. And if you look at one video on TikTok, it's just like the rest of your algorithm is all financial stuff. And that's a good thing, right? Even though TikTok, I wouldn't say obviously get your information from there, but it's better to look into that stuff, be aware. Maybe you get, sparked to have a conversation with somebody that is experienced. And now you guys are talking about nuance with your state and how you should, take care of things. I also think that we have a super high expense business, right? Painting, you run paint, materials, marketing. I mean, how many things do we have to pay for if you're doing it the right way to be able to scale, properly? All of that can be turned into points.
Yes.
And I will give you guys some game right now because I struggled in the last 2 years to get the most out of it. I was like, all right, I love my Capital One, right? Pays for all my flights. Capital One Spark, it's like one of the best cards. You get so many points. I just got a discount on like something I just bought. It was like really good. I love this card. But what happens is you look into other cards and you try to figure out how to get better advantages. So I opened up an American Express and the points, you get less points. The flights are inflated. And there's a whole transfer portal thing. I love Capital One Spark. So if you guys are going to get something from this as far as like what credit card to get the most out of your points, that's my preferred.
Yeah.
American Express is on my naughty list for this year.
Dude, maybe we should do another episode on that. I agree with you. Amex, man. Yeah. Well, I use, because I'm on the West Coast, we use Chase Southwest. Because those points for us on the West Coast, if you're on the West Coast, he gave you the East Coast play.
Yep.
The West Coast for us, Southwest Chase. Dude, the points are amazing. So we use that and then we pay off that every week. So we use that credit card and we use those points for our travel, and we pay taxes. So like
Love
sometimes
it.
my travel is $11. It's crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, way to bring that up. Look at us put it in a game.
Another game I would say is most people, because you get so much for your points, especially like if you are looking to get into a credit card for points,
Mhm.
look at the offers because you can pay off your taxes or the bulk of your taxes with a credit card. And
Mhm.
now, if you have to spend a certain amount, you're going to get that entry level bonus, right? 100,000 points, whatever it is,
Yep.
plus what you're spending. So now you just paid for a nice free trip, couple flights, hotels, and you're good. You're starting off 2026 really nice. So
Look at
take
us, man.
advantage of these bonuses that are out there. But what
Yeah.
happens is when you run up expenses like that, you try and figure out how to optimize everything. That's just me personally. That
Yep.
logical side of me starts to spin, and I'm like, I need more money, right? For this money that I'm spending or points. And then you go into like the Sherwin-Williams realm. I mean, you're a guru when it comes to, these conversations, negotiations. What does that look like? Share some light on the, paint manufacturer
Yeah, I
relationship.
mean, like kind of like offers they give you and things that some painters don't know about.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Sherwin, don't get mad at me. But our accounts, before I exited, our biggest account was the San Diego Painting Company, right? And what they did was they offered us a couple things. Instead of us offering duration, they wanted us to push more emerald. So they actually lowered our emerald price per gallon on purpose so that we can upsell from super paint to emerald. So we completely
Wow.
skipped duration. That's how they built our account. We also get rebates through Dunn Edwards, which is on the southwest region. It would be like kind of like a Benjamin Moore or Sherwin. So we got rebates from Dunn Edwards. We also got rebates from Sherwin. So what we do is we tell you guys, hey, you should really come to them and tell them what your plan is for 2026. So let's say 10% of what you're going to spend. Let's say you guys are like, hey, I'm going from 1 million to 2 million next year. Well, 10% of that is what? Well, let's call it $100,000 to $200,000 worth of paint. Well, if you bring that to Sherwin and say, here's our projections, what can you guys do to help support us? They do have credit rebates, right? So that rebate is for every gallon spent, they pay you back. So, gosh, I'll go with my lower numbers just to show you guys. If you did $2 to $3 million, I used to get paid a rebate check about $20,000 a year by April the following month or the following year. So by April, we would get a check cut. That was like $2 to $3 million worth of business. We would do a close to $20,000 rebate. So imagine that, guys. And then you can also negotiate getting shirts made, having wraps. I've noticed from different businesses in different states, we got different offers based off of how good your relationship was with your district manager. To the point when you guys start really owning your market, the VP will fly out. The president of that region
Yeah.
will fly out. I've had that opportunity where they're like, hey, we see how fast you guys are growing. How can we support you? And what is it that you need? It's all about asking. And I teach you guys all the time. If you don't ask, you don't get. So I highly recommend going into 2026. We still have time this month. Start talking to your reps and say, hey, what can you guys do to support my growth and help me win? So
Yeah.
they will help you guys. But if you don't know that that thing exists, how are you able to negotiate those things? But make sure you're prepared. Come up with a projection. Like I like to do budget forecasts. I know Aiden has something similar to that too, is forecast it, tell them where you're going and negotiate that. Again, what can you do with a $20,000 rebate check? You can put it back into marketing. You can go give those bonuses to your employees, right? Like there's so many things. That's
Yeah.
free money that you guys are missing all because you don't know that it's out there. So go
Yep.
ask and go negotiate.
No, this is game, guys. I mean, take notes, right? If you're driving, take recording, whatever. But
Absolutely.
here's the thing, too. You can't just go to your rep and send them this clip and say, hey, can you do this for me, right?
Yeah. You got to
This
build a
is
relationship.
built of a relationship, a real relationship where you have their
Mm,
best interests in mind, right? Sherwin's not just doing this for everybody. They're
correct.
doing it for the people that are saying, hey, I would love to exclusively work with you. We have proved ourselves up to this point. You can confidently know that we're bringing you these projections because we are aggressively scaling, right? We
Yeah.
want to make a relationship and make it work. What does that look like going into next year, right? And then that's how you get the negotiation rolling, right? And they're probably becoming less lenient with this kind of stuff. So time is
Yeah.
ticking for you to hop on it. But it comes from a place of genuine, hey, they really think you're capable, right? A lot of the guys, it's easy. We work with them that we coach and they can confidently say, yes, this is a possibility. Where if you're just coming off the street, opened up a paint account, and you're trying to already, they're just going to reject you, and it's not going to look good for yourself. So
100%.
think it through, actually prove your worth, invest into yourself a little bit in the company, the image and stuff like that. Because Sherwin does want to align with real reputable companies. They want you to promote them on their stuff, right? This is beneficial for them. They want you to spend an extra $1 million for revenue to produce 100,000, whatever it is. They want that. They want to help you in these relationships, but it has to be like come from a place of genuineness, right?
Yeah, partnership, 100%.
Real partnership. Cool. So we killed finance. I hope you guys got something from that. We'll move on. But definitely, guys, like, comment, subscribe if you want to hear more, if you want to learn more tactics, if you have any specific questions, let us know so we can take it, put it into our episodes, talk on it, and help you guys out. Because we do hear chatter. We do talk to our guys and what they want to hear, and that's why a lot of these topics are curated from. So keep in mind, guys, make sure you're interacting. So topic number 2, and this is something that I've been seeing, especially guys early on. So we talked a lot about guys from like 1 to 3 million. What does it look like for somebody that's doing 10 to 30K a month, right? Yeah. And they are being, I won't say too nice, right, when it comes to sales, but they don't know how to navigate certain situations, right? Mm-hmm. Because like you said, you're coming from a place of desperation. The client can smell that. They can know when you're a rookie, right? They feel it. When you're texting them and saying, hey, no worries, take your time with the quote. If you ever need anything, let us know. We're happy to serve you, right? ABC Painting. That's not always the best response, guys. These are like the soft, what would I say? These are like the things that aren't talked about a lot in negotiation, right? Because we can teach wordplay, but you also have to read the room, assert a level of, hey, we don't need your business per se. We would love to work with you, but we're not going to bend over backwards, and we want to make this a fair transaction. Do you see that, with some of your lower level guys?
I see it all around, actually, right? But like obviously, when you look at like making 10, 30K a month, that mindset already, you're like, hey, every job counts. So I could see how that would happen. But it happens too when people are set up with not enough work, no matter how large they are, right? So that scarcity mentality comes up. And here's the thing, and I hope everyone can take this down. Like if you guys are listening to this, listen, the most important thing is it is a disservice for you to lose a job for another company that's going to do a horrible job. And what do I mean by that? If you get in the mindset of, I don't care if you make $5,000 a month, you are the best painting company in your area. You have to live that, believe it, feel it, and show it. It is a disservice by you allowing somebody else to take care of their home. That's the mindset you have to go into every single one. If you start to tap into that and be like, it's a disservice for me to let ABC Painting to take this client, trust me, organically, you'll start closing more deals. You'll get out of that scarcity mentality, and you will force yourself to ask for the close, ask for the sale. And it's important because you go, hey, I don't want them to be mistreated or not taken care of. And you come in from a heart of a servant, right? That's that disservice I'm talking about. So I think that would be helpful, is just shifting the mindset behind it versus going, I need this job. No. It's not that I need the job. It is a disservice if they go with anyone else. You shift that lens, automatically, organically, you'll start to sell more. Yeah. I truly believe that.
That is a hack, and you will hear that a lot with high-level entrepreneurs, right? Being in the mindset of where you want to be already and living and acting as if that's the case.
Yes.
Right? Because now you're in a different state, right? You already see yourself as that $1 million company, that $2 million company, and perception is reality. The client will pick up. The client will say, oh, wow, they must be around for a long time, right? They must do a lot of jobs. When I first started in Florida, I heard that a lot. I went with you, Aiden, because I wanted to go with a reputable company, and I knew you guys were the guy. I only been around for a few months, right? But it speaks to kind of the level of know what we are already. I know what we were at that time. I know where we're going, right? And we just kind of talked about it with the Sherwin-Williams rep. If they feel that way and you're like, holy shit, this he's going to do numbers. I can't wait to partner with him. I'm going to talk to you about my vice president. Now there's a different conversation going, right? You're not coming from the desperation of, oh, I need X, Y, and Z. You don't need anything, right? You're going somewhere, and if they want to come with you, great. Same with your sales. We're going to do an amazing job. I know we're going to do it right. If you want to work with us, great. Here's what it looks like. If not, hey, I can only compromise so much, right?
I love that. Dude, First of all, you hit mindset, and I love that because you don't say much about mindset. Like, listen to even Aiden saying that the shift of the mindset, how important that is, and that's in everything in life, right? When you can change your lens, everything else follows. I promise you that. And that was really what made it different for me in the painting industry. Is when I changed my mindset, everything went over. It got better and better each day. So I appreciate
Yeah.
you talking about the mindset side of it. It's super important.
That's years of mentorship, right? That is not me just overnight changing. That is like
Yeah.
talking with you, talking with other guys around me and them giving me game on what helped them. So
Yeah.
that's why I said like high level entrepreneurs, that's how they think. That's a hack. That's a tactic. And it
100%.
becomes a lifestyle, right? And a lot of things we're talking about, you can apply to your family and your personal life as well, right?
Absolutely.
Treating your finances in your personal home like a business, having a budget, right? Having the mentality of, hey, we're already achieving our goals. We're just in the journey. I'm going to act like we are, or we already did it. Whether you're trying to buy a home, you're trying to do investments, you're trying to level up your relationship, right? Once you get in the mentality of, I am already that, it becomes that much easier. Things start falling into place. Your spouse starts to buy in. The people around you start to see you a little differently, and life changes. And it happens fast if you commit. So if you can take what we're giving you and run with it, your life will literally change. This is why we do the podcast, right? This is why we do it. So we're
Love
hitting
it.
good stuff, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
We're hitting good stuff. And that goes, perfectly into our next topic, and that's thinking big. I was checked today. I'm going to be very transparent with you. I got on
Okay.
a call with Michael Page, our
Yeah.
guy. We
Shout out.
love Mike. Shout out Mike. If you guys need Google SEO website guys, he's the guy. Trade
Yeah.
Boost, these guys are awesome. And he actually works with one of our coaches, Justin, and he's getting them crazy results.
Dude, he's even doing my pest control business, man. Like
Really?
real fast, just to give a shout out. Like he got me like 74 leads literally in its first like 2 weeks. It was wild. And we're just dude, like I'm seeing him in the industry right now. I just wanted to shout out a little bit more on him real
Oh,
quick. He just does things a little bit differently than I've seen. And I love what he does.
yeah.
So, 100%. We both work with him. So
Yeah.
that's
And dude,
something.
we were in Arizona and like, he's next to Justin, first time meeting him. And he's like, I just got a lead. Was it from us? Yeah. It's like real time. He's getting them leads. So
That's
guys,
awesome.
if you're looking for marketing, digital marketing, Google, I think they do Facebook as well, website, tradeboost.ca. Michael's your guy. I use him for something a little bit different. And
Same.
I
Again.
have him help me with my CRM for my coaching. I'm trying to
Yep.
build that out, be really transparent with you guys, right? And I was like, here's what I think 2026 looks like as far as how we act, our offer, what we're going to serve to our clients, and how we're going to operate. And he told me straight up, you are not thinking big enough. You are selling yourself short.
Yes.
He said the market is demanding more, right? And we pulled up case studies, we pulled up different things, we pulled up conversations I had with my clients with things they wanted. And he said, you're not offering that. You need to be. And I needed to get checked in that way because I was the reason, or would have been the reason, that we wouldn't be shooting for the stars, offering more, helping more in different ways. And he gave me that clarity. And it was like an epiphany for me. Like, I need to be doing more. I need to be thinking bigger. So when we say get in these rooms, guys, talk to these high level guys, get around people that you want to be in that circle. It will change everything.
Here's the thing: when you're talking about thinking big, when you're surrounded, I talk about the ecosystem like that. Like Mike's part of our ecosystem now, right? Because he does the same thing with my CRMs, and there's things that he talks to me. I'm like, whatever, just do it. That's not my thing, right? But the cool part is this: when you are surrounded by this is what happens now, right? There's this overflow of abundance that we truly believe in. And when you're able to be connected with someone that just goes, there's so much money, there's so much, there's so much wealth, there's so much out there, and you hear that daily, you automatically start to go, okay, let me search it, right? So here's the cool part. You mind if I get a little nerdy in the brain?
Please do.
Okay, cool. So this is what I like. Me, I like to get in the brain stuff. There's a filter in our mind, right? And remember, I keep telling you guys on today's call, when you change your lens, everything changes. Okay. So look what happened. And a lot of guys in our industry, like higher level guys like Ed Milet, Tony Robbins, and things like that, they talk about the RAS, which is called the reticular activating system. Here's the craziest part. A lot of people are so obsessed about the RAS. You ever buy a vehicle, and when you bought a vehicle, all of a sudden you're like, dude, I've never seen a burgundy Ford, your truck, right? All of a sudden, everyone and their mother has the exact same truck you have, right? Why do you think that happens? There's a filter in your brain, just to simplify it. So a lot of these guys talk about the RAS, but here's the craziest part. When you're searching for something, that's when things happen for you because you're looking for it. Your filter is now focused. It's super focused on it because now you have it. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, I'd never noticed all these trucks. Okay, well, when you start to do 2 million or 1 million, you're like, that became easy all of a sudden. When before you did that, it didn't feel easy ever until you got it. Now it becomes easy. So guess what? When you're coaching or talking to your team, it comes off easy as well. So now their filter changes because they're like, oh, my boss said it's too easy, so it must be. Or your boss said it's too hard, so it must be. Right? So when we get that filter and you start walking into rooms that start thinking bigger and you start being around those people, they're not any more special than us, right? It's because they just think differently. And then they automatically, their brain starts to search for it. It's like a freaking satellite just searching, right? So the hack to the brain is this: get rid of the limiting mindset belief system. Start writing it down. Everything you write actually starts to come to fruition because now your brain starts to go, well, he must really need that because he said it. He wrote it. This is his goal. Now, here's the cool part. When you start working backwards from that goal, all of a sudden at the end of 2026, you're like, dude, I crushed it. That's so weird. How did I crush it? Well, you thought about it. You thought bigger, right? Then you actually put a plan, which means naturally you start to execute the plan. It is that simple. I know it sounds wild, but it is that simple. When you start to search for it, you start to get it, right? So now someone exposed something for you, no different than what we do to our clients. We expose their limiting beliefs because we already know the story that holds them back. We already know the blueprint to get them to the goals. And that's how we're able to get people to see success so quickly. No different than us trying to get to the next level for ourselves. When we search for someone that's been there, sees it, they're just putting us on game, right? So isn't that interesting? No different than going to PaintCon. You leave, you execute, boom. All of a sudden you're seeing the goals. No different than liftoff. You're in rooms with guys like us and we're like, you can do it. This is the play. You get off a free call and you're like, oh my gosh, no different than the podcast. They heard something, they executed. Gosh, think about it. Manny is a perfect example, right, Aiden? He just listened. He was like, that's achievable. I'm going to do it. And now he's not just hitting his goal, he's crushing it.
Incredible.
Because of the belief system he adopted based on watching you and I, his filter changed. Isn't that wild?
You know what even is wilder, and I will even tack onto this?
Hit it.
What do you notice about the guys that we work with a lot of times, right? Let's just say they go through our programs or are working with us. They say, what's more? What's next? What else can I do? Always. And they start looking around and they say, I just signed on with this guy. I just hired this coach for this thing. They become so influenced and so they felt it. They seen it. They had the change occur to them in their business. Their life changed. Everything got better. And they said, I want more.
Yes.
I want to continue to do this. And I've seen so many, I would say miracles, but honestly, at this point, they just keep happening, right? But I have seen so much great things, right? We talk about the abundance, so many great things with our clients, your clients, people across the board. And I don't even care if they're in my coaching program. I know when they invest in themselves, they bring out the potential that they always knew they had, but weren't too confident in, right? Maybe they just needed somebody to kind of guide them. So now we do that for them, or they achieve that, and they say, what's next, right? And now it's like compound interest. And then when they do that for years and years, and they open that lens, and at the end, people say, how did you do it? It happened overnight? No, right? Well, he just has this business. Guys, they started, they stayed consistent, and they opened that lens, and they did not turn it off. That's why I love to say I have no leashes, right? 2025 can probably define me as that, is I had a belief system. I had a mindset. When I would talk to you and I would talk to Alex, all these guys that I look for, advice for, they said, Aiden, you're not thinking how you should be, or the way you're saying things and your speech and all these different things kind of combined are keeping you down here. right? So now you start making change, you start opening it up, and it didn't happen overnight for me, guys. I mean, this was years and years that I had to like work on, commit to, close my eyes, meditate a little more, right? Like still feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But now I'm so open to these ideas because I've seen it work. I've seen it help me. So it's funny how, over years and months and, continuing to double down on it, it just helps you so much, right? And you can achieve the things that we're talking about with the guys that we're coaching and working with. And it's really like a magic, if we're being honest.
It is.
It's like a
Once you
magic.
tap into it, absolutely.
That's why I say it's like a hack. It's like a life hack, right? So you guys need to open yourself up to these bigger conversations and that even topic, right? How many guys do you can't even really have certain conversations with because they're just not there yet, right? And you want to help them get there, right? And they're like, you see the path and you're like, you don't even know what's ahead of you. You don't even know what's possible.
Right.
Right. And it's hard to communicate that sometimes. Hey, I guess that's why you got to be a great salesman, right?
Yeah.
It's a means to an end, right?
Yeah. 100%.
That's so funny. I'll end it, quickly. Actually, one of the guys we work with, his name's Luis, and he's a younger cat, maybe not even 20 years old. I don't even know. He's young. And he wanted to work with his dad. And he said, I am a part of the business, right? Like legally, he is a part of the business, but he hasn't taken any money because his dad's been running the show and he helps here and there. But like, he's like, I just don't have the skills to help, Like I know it's possible. I'm an entrepreneur. He has like a barbershop and stuff, but he hired us and he said like, I want to be able to contribute. I want to sell. I want to estimate. And you say you have all these systems. Let's run it.
Let's go.
So he hopped on, and in his first week after getting our sales framework, production rates, setting up everything, a man sold 40K.
Oh, dude.
He doesn't even know what a primer is.
Dude,
he couldn't even tell you what primer is. And he sold 40K. And he just said like, holy shit, it is possible. Right. Yes. So now everything changes.
Dude, that makes me so, I can only imagine how he feels right now. Like,
great, man. It's
good
great
for you, man. Let's go, Luis.
I only share that it's because he came to me and he said, look, if you say you can do what you're saying you can do, I'd love to be a part of it. He was open to it, right? Sometimes that's all I need. Sometimes that's all you need, right? For somebody to just say, hey, I know where I want to go. I have all the pieces. I'm ready. I just need somebody to guide me, give me some of the sauce that I may not have right now. That's all you need. And then it starts. And I promise you in 2 years, he'll be working with other coaches. He'll be starting other businesses, applying these concepts, and his life literally could change from that last week.
I love that, dude. It did. You opened his lens. He's got a new filter now, man. That's it. It already happened. There's no going back now.
It's insane. So needless to say, I can speak for Joel on this as well. We love what we do because we see so much abundance and positivity, right? So we want you guys to tap in. We want you guys to continue listening and getting this energy. We're sending it out to you guys. Yes. Open your satellites, open your lenses, and I promise you guys only great things will happen. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, comment, interact with us, DM us if you have any questions, right? Like we're open books,
Yes. Facts.
So with that being said, Joel, you got anything else for us?
I do. I'm getting prepared for my quotes every time now. So I'll leave you guys with this. Most people aren't tired. They're just uncommitted. Find the commitment that you want to commit to. Whatever that is, I promise you, you'll see the success you're seeking. It's just that you're uncommitted. That's it. I'll leave it simple.
That. Beautiful, guys. 2025 is coming to an end. Make sure you rewatch this episode if you need to. Talk to you soon.
Peace.